Yeah, hello and welcome to this video round recap for round 4. It is in the Tata Steel Tournament 2016, and we'll be looking at almost all of the games of this round, a little bit at least. Let's kick off with the world champion Magnus Carlsen. He had white against Mamedyarov, who pretty much now famously blundered a whole rook in the round before. And we could expect that Carlsen wanted to win this game, I guess, against some shaken Mamedyarov. However, nothing of the sort happened. Yeah, it was a pretty boring game, to be honest. And Carlsen repeated this opening that was played earlier in that event by, I think it was Elyanov with white against Vailly. And they pretty much reproduced this game. It was kind of funny. It was almost identical. And in that game, Elyanov had absolutely nothing. And the same happened in this game. Carlsen had nothing. Mamedyarov defended this precisely. Bishop h6 was a nice move. Even it was played in the earlier game. So it was kind of mysterious what Carlsen was shooting for. And I pretty much skipped the rest. They traded most of their pieces, and agreed to a draw. Pretty weird game, I think, from the world champion. He just repeated a game where white had absolutely nothing. At least that's my view of the position. I mean, certainly Carlsen knows more about it than I do, but I simply have no idea what the point was. It felt like just going for nothing. Yeah, that game was pretty uneventful. The second uneventful game was Wesley So Ding Liren. We also don't have to look at this very much. We had a semi-Slav here out of this this move order. This has been seen earlier in a game in that event by Ding, and again nothing much happened in this game. It was very precisely played by both sides. Many trades in the center, and that symmetrical position never really got going to something exciting. So those games didn't excite us very much. There also was the game Mickey Adams with white against Vailly. It had an interesting opening. Adams went for c4 and tried something funky here with h4 in this English. But the way it turned out, we had a quick queen trade. And in fact, it was Vailly who was a little bit better for most of the game, mostly because Adams' h-pawn was more of a weakness than a strength. Yeah, Black ultimately managed to win that pawn. We fast forward a little bit. He managed to ultimately get to the pawn with his knight, but he couldn't win the game at the end. Adams defended this very tenaciously. Nothing much happened, to be honest. Adams, a very, very good defender of slightly worse position, and he didn't disappoint here. Yeah, those were the less exciting games of the round. Now, what happened in the more exciting ones? We had the game Giri Caruana. Very interesting. Giri didn't really get to a good start. He lost round 1 and was completely lost against Navarra in the third round. And Caruana had a great start with 2 wins and a draw. So Caruana certainly out for blood here, I think. And he played the Open Spanish. I don't see that too often nowadays. But it's not refuted or anything. It's just completely out of fashion. And this certainly makes it a viable surprise weapon. Giri went for the line with Bishop e3. And that's not believed to be the critical test of the opening. In fact, I think Caruana got quite a decent opening position here. When we look at this kind of thing, that cannot be too bad for Black. He's got very decent central control, possibilities of knight jumps. Now, it got very complicated after this bishop takes d5 here by Giri. He took the pawn, but got into that pin. Yeah, it's got to be quite complicated. c4, Black took, check. That was nice little tactical sequence. And here Black had to do something about his king. Yeah, Caruana managed to solve that problem really nicely. He went for this advance, h6 and g5, to get the king to g7. Something that many maybe amateur players would be skeptical about. Weaken